Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are getting into some Christmas holiday baking because holidays are coming up and I'm really wanting some snacks, and one of these things is something that I've made several times before, and one thing is something I've never made before, so a little bit nervous about that. I'm hoping it goes well, but things can definitely go wrong, so I'm a bit scared about that. So be sure to subscribe if you want, because in the next week we have Christmas week, which of course is when I'll be reacting to your guys' suggestions that you gave me all throughout the month of December for Christmas or winter holiday themed K-pop content. Super excited about that, so be sure not to miss it. And yeah, we're just gonna get straight into this. I'm kind of nervous because in my first baking video for Halloween, I was using like pre-made mixes and nothing was really too complicated. But this time I'm making everything from scratch, except for like one thing. So yeah. So for today we have marshmallow fluff peanut butter fudge. Now we all know what peanut butter fudge is, and I'm sure most of us know what marshmallow fluff is, but if you don't, it's essentially just like marshmallow but liquid. It's like thick and gooey and stretchy, and it's kind of amazing. But here is, it's like, you can see, it's very like thick and amazing and delicious, and it tastes so good. I'm not really a big fan of marshmallows because they're so dry and like chewy, me getting it in my hair, but I love marshmallow fluff. It is so sweet and delicious, and I've never really found a peanut butter fudge that I've really liked. It's either too sweet or too dry or just not sweet enough. Like, it's always just weird. But when I found this recipe for adding marshmallow fluff, everything changed. It's like become my favorite thing. I've made it for family several times. I've made it a lot. So sometimes it comes out grainy if you don't cook it long enough, but I'm gonna try a different method this time, see if it becomes grainy or not. We'll see. It's still delicious either way, so it doesn't even matter. And then next, I'm actually gonna do them kind of at the same time. Efficiency and all that. A transparent pie. Now, this is sort of a staple near where I'm from. A lot of people call it Maysville transparent pie. Now, I don't live in Maysville, so I'm not doxing myself here, but I do live in Kentucky, and of course I have been to Maysville. I actually used to live there many years ago, probably 20 years ago, maybe even more than that, and they have a staple called transparent pie. It wasn't invented in Maysville, and it wasn't even invented in Kentucky. I think it dates back to like the 17 or 1800s, I can't remember, in like England, but it came to America, and one place that it's just stuck and people have really grasped onto it is Maysville, Kentucky. So it's really a staple, and people eat this pie, whether in a full pie or in little small mini ones, every holiday, and they're shared around. And it was actually kept alive by a bakery called McGee's Bakery, which unfortunately closed just a couple years ago. It had been open since the 1930s, and it really just, the Maysville pie, transparent pie, it's been so popular there for many years. So that's what I'm gonna make. I had one a couple years ago, and ever since then I've wanted to make my own. I had it in little tart pans. I couldn't, this day kind of snuck up on me, so I didn't have enough time to prepare, but I am going to make it in a full full pie tin, and I'm kind of scared because we'll see if it really works. I'm not sure. So yeah, everything is made from scratch except for the pie crust. I'm not trying to make a homemade pie crust and have everything crumble and fall and be horrible. So I have a pre-made pie crust, which is the Pillsbury pie crusts. These I found are really good. I actually use these like every time I make mini pumpkin pies, and they're really good. So yeah, so I'm going to start with the pie because it takes about 45 minutes to bake, and during that 45 minutes I'm then going to move on to the fudge. So here we go. Wish me luck. All right, and here we are with all of our ingredients, our little setup. So the recipe, which I of course will link down in the description, takes 1 stick of butter. Now it has to be melted, so I will put this in the microwave briefly. And then 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. This is 8 ounces, so that is 1 cup. 4 eggs, which are beaten, 2 tablespoons of flour, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then of course we have the pie crusts. Now, the recipe does say that it makes 1 deep dish pie or 2 shallow pies, so I'm not actually sure if this is deep dish or not. So we'll see how much filling it takes. I'm a little bit worried about that, but all good. So we have all of our ingredients. I'm gonna quickly put this in the microwave, this butter to melt, and I'll be right back. All right, so here we have our melted butter. And then the first order of business is to put the butter and sugar into a bowl and whisk that up for a couple minutes. So here we have our sugar. And of course our butter. And then we're going to whisk this up for a couple minutes. All right, it has been a few minutes. So we got like this more sort of like crunchy, buttery texture. And next we have to add is the heavy whipping cream. I absolutely hate these things. Oh my gosh. All right, and it says to mix together for about 2 minutes till it's slightly thickened and light and fluffy, so. All right, it's been about 2 minutes, definitely has thickened up, and it is light and fluffy. Okay, and now we add the beaten eggs. I'm actually going to give them a quick stir just in case anything has separated. Always want to make sure the eggs are well beaten because you don't want streaks and clumps of egg white in there, you know? All right, I need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. This is a ½ teaspoon, so I'll add 2 of these. And then we need 2 tablespoons of flour. Here's my tablespoon. And I forgot to mention, I'm not a professional baker, chef, whatever, so I'm not using like tips and techniques and all this other stuff, and it's definitely going to have that homemade feel because that is all that I got. All right, we add the eggs as well. And then of course we mix this until it is mixed pretty well. That seems well mixed. Pretty smooth, if I must say so myself. Honestly, it looks pretty similar. Here is the pie crust, which I'm currently unraveling. It is a store-bought pie crust, like I showed you. There's a little bit of flour on the cutting board, so it doesn't stick. And the instructions do say that if you have a high sugar content pie, to put a little bit of flour on both sides. So that is what I'm doing. Just to help things from getting too soggy, you know? Okay, and then here is my pie tin, which I will fit this crust into. We do have a little bit of excess, so I am going to cut this part off. Now in the recipe, it does have like this beautiful like crimping around the outside, but like I said, I'm not a professional baker and I've never done this before and I'm scared to mess something up. So I'm just gonna keep it how it is like this. A little more of a rustic feel, you know? All right, here comes the fun part where we pour the filling into the tin. Now, the recipe does say that the filling is probably too much for one tin. So to use 2 shallower tins. So, and I can already tell looking at the mix, it's definitely too much for this. So I'm gonna pour as much as I can into it and then use the rest with another pie. And the recipe also says not to blind bake the crust. So I'm going based off of that. Some recipes do, some don't. Actually, it might be enough for this whole thing. I actually think I'm going to line the other tin. Yes, we'll have a really big crust here, but I don't really mind. I think it's fine. I can always just peel that part off once it's cooked. There we go with the second pie tin, and now we're gonna use the rest of this filling. And I'll try to get it as even as possible. Alright, I think that's about as even it's gonna get, so I will put these in the oven and we'll get back to these in about 45 minutes. I'll probably check them around 30, see how they're doing. And then after I get this stuff cleaned up, we're gonna get to the fudge. Alright, the pies are in the oven. It'll probably be about 30 minutes before I have to check them. A little bit scared. Oh my gosh, I hate putting like flimsy aluminum tins in the oven. It is so scary. I'm scared that it's gonna fall. I'm scared I'm gonna hurt myself. Whew. I'm stressed. So let me quickly clean up my little area, get the stuff ready for the fudge, and I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Look at how beautiful it is outside. Snowy with the twinkling lights. Very pretty, very cold. Alright, now I have a steel pan, not non-stick, and I have my wooden spoon. Also, I totally forgot that I was going to wrap the edges of the pies in aluminum foil because, you know, those parts burn. So they might burn, so that's good. We'll see. But anyway, so for the fudge, we start with sugar, 2 cups of sugar, and then half a cup of milk. And then we're just gonna stir it all up till it's mixed. And then we're gonna bring it to a boil. And of course, I will put this recipe down in the description as well if you want to try it out for yourself. It's genuinely my favorite fudge recipe of all time. It does say to stir occasionally as you're bringing it to a boil. And then once it hits a boil, we have to boil it at a rapid boil for about 3 minutes, stirring constantly. We're getting there, slowly but surely. Of course, you don't want to do it too fast. Bring it to a boil too fast because then it'll just burn. It should start boiling soon. I can see it bubbling up in a few places. Yep, just around the edges, it's starting to boil. So we are almost there, particularly around this edge, starting to boil. Definitely boiling, but not rapid boil just yet. Almost there. Alright, I think we're just about there. So this should boil for 3 whole minutes and stir constantly. So and then I'm going to take it off the heat and then add the vanilla, the marshmallow fluff, and the peanut butter. This burner is kind of weird. It always gets hotter than the other ones, so even though it says medium-high, I keep it more towards what most other burners would be medium. Okay, we got about a minute to go. Now we're gonna take it off the heat. I think you can see me, yeah. We're gonna quickly add half a tablespoon of vanilla. It's gonna cook this alcohol out of this vanilla real quick. It stinks. Woo, that's strong. Then we're gonna use pretty much this entire jar of peanut butter. You can see it's actually been used a little bit, but that's actually a good thing because I only need 12 ounces of peanut butter, and this is a 16-ounce jar technically. So having a little bit gone is actually a good thing. This part's pretty time sensitive, excuse me. That should be enough peanut butter, and then I'll use this entire jar of marshmallow fluff, marshmallow cream. It doesn't matter if it mixes because I'm using it all anyway with the peanut butter. It's so sticky and gooey, but it's so good. And then I'm just gonna mix this, and it's gonna get really thick pretty quick. Ooh, it is a real workout. Alright, that's the mixture. And I have it going in this little square tin right here. I do have a second one just in case it doesn't all fit, but it should. And be aware, it is very hot. Honestly, I'm gonna just leave this on the spoon so I can eat it later. But yeah, so there's that mixture, and I'll set it on a little rack to cool. All right, and we are back. Whew, it's been quite a while. Fudge is on the table, cooling off. I got these out of the oven. I didn't record that part because I was a little nervous, a little scared, because these pans are hard to get out of the oven. They're very, very hot. Now there is some cracking around, and it looks quite dark, but I was just worried about it being underdone, so maybe I accidentally overcooked it a little bit. I was supposed to put foil around the edge, but I forgot, so it didn't burn though, thankfully. And yeah, so these have got to cool for a very long time, so I'm gonna let them do that. But of course, I'm gonna end the video really quickly, and once I get these all gussied up and cooled off and then put on a plate, then I might put pictures and maybe a little quick video of me tasting it, cutting into it or something like that. I don't know, we'll see, but I'll film an ending now just in case. But yeah, honestly, not bad for my first ever time making transparent pie. You may be wondering why it's called that, because the mixture was quite, pale yellow, thick, definitely not transparent. You will see after I cut into it, if it looks the right way, why it is called that. But until then, we'll just let them cool here for quite a while. All right, and that was my little video of some peanut butter fudge with marshmallow cream / marshmallow fluff, and some transparent pies, Maysville's signature pie. As of right now, everything is still cooling, but I wanted to film this little thing just so, I can get this part over with, so I can just sit down and, well, do the dishes actually. But besides that, let everything cool down, sit down for a while, just watch some videos and just relax. But yeah, so once everything's all cooled down, I get it all cut up, or at the very least, the fudge cut up, put on a nice plate, looks really cool. I'll show that off, and then once the pies cool down, I might record me cutting into it, maybe. We'll see. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, just in case it's a total fail. But we'll see. So yeah, just stay tuned. If there's another like 30 seconds to a minute of this video left, or a couple minutes, stay tuned for that. But otherwise, if there's pictures put up or something, we'll look at that. But otherwise, that's it for this video. Pretty proud of myself, honestly, for having never made the transparent pie before. Honestly, I feel like it's gonna be not that bad. And then with the fudge, unfortunately, it's like really gritty, and I really don't know why. I swear, I've made this fudge like probably 10 times. Half the times it's really gritty, half the times it's completely smooth. So I don't know. And I do almost the same thing every single time. So this time it was just gritty. That's just how it be. And it still tastes absolutely delicious. So I'm really not that mad about it. I'm not giving it to anyone. It doesn't have to be perfect. And again, I'm not a professional baker, cook, whatever. So it looks homemade, and that's the charm of it. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Get geared up for Christmas week. I will be having some of these snacks along with some other holiday themed like candies and stuff like that for K-pop Christmas week. Super excited about that. Stay tuned for that. Yeah, so thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye. All right, and welcome back. For you guys, it's only been a couple seconds, but for me, it's been a couple hours. So I have the tin on a cutting board because this aluminum is quite thin, and when I cut a piece, I don't want it going through the tin and cutting the tablecloth. So just have it on a little cutting board. Yeah, I'm going to attempt. Sometimes it sticks. It looks like this one might not stick, but sometimes it does. Like I said, it is grainy, unfortunately. I really don't know what I did this time to make it so grainy, but It always... Cooking and baking is like that. You can make something 100 times and then half the time it'll be a mess and half the time it'll be good, so. Sometimes it's dry, sometimes it's more moist. So who knows what we're gonna get this time. Now the fudge has been refrigerated, but the pies were not, so it's quite cold to cut into. First piece is always really hard to get it out, so let's see. Oh, it seems like it's gonna come up pretty easily. Yeah, there we go. Not so bad. I'll put it on a little plate for decoration, a little decorative plate. Of course, you can cut these any size you want. Alright, and now I'm going to cut the pie, which has been fully cooled. It's been cooling for about a couple hours, 2 hours or so. You can see some cracking, which is fine. But of course, this was my first time at making this, so it's not going to be perfect. So let's attempt a cut. I'm scared. I swear I can never do these right. Whatever. Now this is gonna suck to get out. The first piece especially. Okay. And I do have this plate. It's very pretty, very cute. My mom just got them for Christmas, so we're going to try to get a piece on that plate. Hey, that's not bad. Actually, I want to see. Yeah, I feel like the crust on the bottom is undercooked because I didn't actually blind bake the crust because I was going to, but I totally forgot. But some recipes say you don't have to, some say you do. And one that I was reading was very confusing, so I don't know, maybe next time I will partially bake the crust, but you know, we'll see. All right, and I have my pie and fudge with me here. I'm actually going to try the fudge first just because it's a little easier to eat. Here is my fudge. Definitely a little grittier than it's been in the past, which is unfortunate, but it's actually not dry. I've had it be pretty dry sometimes, and that's kind of a bummer, but still just the taste of it doesn't even matter because it's just so good. And honestly, I don't really even mind the grittiness that much. I like a good crunch. I know some people like really smooth, rich fudge, but I kind of like the grittiness. I like crunching on little bits of sugar. Yeah, super good. Maybe next time. I don't know. So, yeah. The flavor, ugh, so good. Just the marshmallow fluff adds a level of sweetness and a little bit of moisture that I feel like doesn't get in there with regular fudge that doesn't have marshmallow fluff, because I've had, like I said, I've had plenty of fudges from stores and local shops and tourist areas, and for some reason I've just never really found one that's like really good. They're usually too sweet, too dry, not really my thing. But when I found this recipe, man, I was like, it's so good. I probably already said that earlier in the video, but it's fine. It's been a couple hours, so I don't remember what I said. Now let's get into the pie tasting. It looks good on the top. Of course, unfortunately, it's underbaked on the bottom, but next time if I make this again, definitely gonna blind bake the crust. But let's go first bite. And also you can kind of see why it's here. Let me pull up this piece. You can kind of see why it's called transparent pie. It's got like a very like, I don't really know. It's not transparent obviously, but it has a sort of like translucent sheen to it, which kind of gives it that name. So let's go. Now this isn't gritty, but it's actually a little more eggy than I was expecting, because I've had one before, but it was made by someone else, and it was in little tarts instead of a big pie like this. Honestly, you can't even really tell that it's underbaked, so whatever. But yeah, it's a bit eggy for my taste, and it's like kind of supposed to be, but it's kind of a lot. So maybe next time I'll use less eggs, like maybe 1 less egg, because I did see people in the reviews saying they made it with 3 eggs instead of 4, and so I think next time I might do that. And of course I'll blind bake the crust next time. I was going to, and then I just totally forgot. I even got beans. I even bought dried beans so I could do it. Totally forgot. So next time I definitely want to do that. But honestly, for my first ever time making, like, this is my first time ever making, well, I guess maybe I did do a pumpkin pie once, but either way, first time making this recipe, I think it's pretty good, and I'm definitely gonna devour it. Honestly, I do like it better cold, just because it is so rich and sugary and eggy. I do like it when it's served cold. These can sit out on the counter, but I prefer mine to be cold. I don't know, it just sets up really well. It's a little more stiff, it's not as soft. I'll put them in the fridge, and then once they've been sitting there for a couple hours or overnight, I'll try a piece tomorrow and see how that tastes. So we'll see how it compares, but I'm definitely eating this whole piece. It's literally, it's just pure sugar and egg and cream. And it is incredibly indulgent, and you know, that's just life. That's the holidays for you. And the fudge too. Yeah. I'm so excited for K-pop Christmas week coming up soon. So be sure to look out for that. I will of course be having some of these little snacks during the week, so I'm really excited about that while I'm watching Christmas K-pop content. It'll be very festive. I know I already said goodbyes, but if you got this far in the video and because you wanted to see how everything's set up and me try the stuff, then thank you for being here. Really great. Comment down below what you guys think of these recipes. I'll of course link them down in the description. Have you ever had a marshmallow fluff peanut butter fudge, or have you ever had a transparent pie? Let me know. Or what's your favorite kind of pie? What's your favorite kind of fudge? Just let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I really do enjoy reading them. And of course, happy holidays. It's not Christmas just yet, but we're getting there. So if you're seeing this during the holidays or after the fact or whatever, hope you have a good one. Hope you had a good one. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye!